You have Beltran. I understand you have questions. Other people might also have questions. You will not be able to respond in the chat, but there is a Q&A section that you can forward those questions to me at, and I will be able to relay them to Mr. Luay and to Dr. Bakri, right? We already received some questions before, and I have some questions as well. So we'll be asking those. So to share a little bit of background with all of you, for Dr. Ibrahim Bakri and Mr. Luay Ayyash, I'll start with Mr. Luay. Mr. Luay graduated from American University in Dubai just this year from the School of Engineering. I'm sorry, in 2015, not this year, from the Master of Science in Construction Management. And he is currently the general manager for Khan Sahib Industries LLC. It's a huge, gigantic company in the construction and real estate industry in the UAE. And we'll get to talk to him about that. Prior to that, he has been manager of different projects at Drake and Skull International PGSC, as well as Amana Contracting and Steel Building. So he's got a massive career in real estate construction management, project management for real estate projects. He's also worked with Astraco over a decade ago. So different companies he's worked with in this industry. We'll be talking to him about that. Also, today joining us is Dr. Ibrahim Bakri, who is a Master of Science Construction Management Program Coordinator and Assistant Professor of Civil Engineering at American University in Dubai at the School of Engineering here. He has a PhD from Concordia University in Department of Building, Civil, and Environmental Engineering. He has a Master's of Sciences in Structural Department at the Cairo University in Egypt, as well as a Bachelor of Sciences also in Structural Department at the Cairo University in Egypt. Dr. Bakri joined AUD as an Assistant Professor of Civil Engineering in 2015, and he is, working with us on the construction management program at the master's level. But prior to joining AUD, he has worked at Concordia University in Canada as a postdoctoral fellow, where his research focused on integrated infrastructure asset management. He helped design a multi-tiered database schema for integrated asset management and a risk-based decision-making model for prioritizing asset intervention plans. So as you can see, we have industry heavyweights from academia and from the industry side. So we're very happy for them to join us today. So let's start with Dr. Bakri. If you can just share a little bit, briefly about yourself, Dr. Bakri, what you do with the construction management program here, and then we will move on to Luay. He can share a little bit about his current role as well.
Thank you, Junaid, for the introduction, and thanking, of course, Luay for his generous presence, and thanking you, our attendees, for attending. Basically, Junaid, you touched upon the basic things. I've been at AUD for this is my 6th year. I'm in the civil engineering department, and most of my time is dedicated to the graduate program, Master of Science in Construction Management. I do a mix of things between teaching and research and different types of services. And what I've seen over the years that although it sounds like a bit of a systematic job, but it's quite dynamic. Every few years, we find ourselves guiding the program or moving with the program in different directions, sometimes a little bit more focused on research, a little bit more focused on teaching, a little bit of a mix of this and that. So it's turning up to be a little bit more dynamic than I had expected, which I'm really enjoying. And yeah, I'm here hoping to, I see already a few friendly names on the list. So it's interesting to catch up with people if we get the chance, and a few other people that I wish we had met in person, maybe on campus, but unfortunately we can't do that. So yeah, we're here to chat with Luay, benefit from his experience, answer questions for interested people, and yeah, share what we
Wonderful.
know. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Luay, can you share a little bit about what you do at the moment?
Okay, so I'm quite blushed with your introduction. Thank you for the introduction. I'm the general manager of Khan Sahib Industries. Khan Sahib Industries is part of Khan Sahib's civil engineering group. It's one of the divisions of the Khan Sahib civil engineering group. We deal definitely with construction. Construction and real estate is both the field of our industry. I have almost around 20 years of experience. Basically, it is between the construction field and the manufacturing. And I've been in UAE for the last 12 years. I think I worked from the university the same time Dr. Ibrahim joined. But I worked before doing my thesis, defending my thesis. So he was helping me as a supervisor, as a mentor for my thesis, which I had in the AUD Master of Science in Construction Management. Now I'm doing a new business, which is for training. I have a business for research and development, and we are doing lean construction and lean management training, just in time and others. Majority of our trainings, it's kind of a trainings plus coaching plus mentoring for companies and for personal users. So majority of our trainings are done now on the online. So I usually do every third week of the month a free webinar for people to join. Okay. So if you follow me, you can easily get the link for that webinar, which is happening. Even the trainings, the AUD have a discount rate for that one. So for all the fellow students and the colleagues.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So without further ado, I would jump straight into questions. Dr. Ibrahim and Luay, this question is for both of you. And a lot of people have asked us this question. I'm sure people who are attending today, you understand the dynamic of the industry in the Middle East, construction management, real estate. Can you share with us why is this program, a Master of Science in Construction Management at a university like AUD, why is it relevant given the dynamic of the industry today? It's so much under pressure. Can you sort of shed some light on that from an alumnus perspective and from a faculty member perspective? Whoever can go first, please.
Okay. Dr. Ibrahim, if you allow me.
Yeah, sure. We're waiting for you.
Yeah, I came to the country in early 2007, and after some time, a downturn happened in the market, and I felt like in that time that these downturns are essential to have a healthy market, because it eliminates the weeds from the market. It eliminates the people who are just coming to do some quick profits and leave the market, regardless the quality and the way they are doing it in a professionalism. These people comes with a very small overhead, a very lousy back of office support, and they survived during the booming. Once the downturn happens, usually these people, they all leave the business. This is a market where it's looking for expert people. It's not looking only for experienced or knowledgeable people. And this is what a Master of Construction Management can do. Can turn the experience and back it up with the knowledge to turn the person into an expert, where this is the needed personnel in the market. They are not looking for somebody with 20 years experience without any offending any person, starting with myself. They're looking for somebody with the knowledge and backbone for his experience. and how it's come like this one, because usually the expertise in the market are limited, and all what we can find either like people with a good academic background that haven't got the practical experience, or like good experience but don't have the background, the academic background. This is why both parts, they are unable to manage a system without getting the knowledge and the experience. And the good thing about like AUD, it is like it is always interlink between the global market and the local market. So anything like it is teach there was correlated to what's happening in the market. It wasn't like an isolated program that it's talking about something happened in the States or in Europe or somewhere else without correlating it to the actual market here. Mm-hmm. And this is why I think such a program is an essential for people to work, to get prepared for this downturns and be glory in the market of the construction.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Dr. Bakri, for you, please, the same question from a faculty perspective.
Well, yeah, I think construction management is a very specific field because it's a mix of management and a mix of engineering. And the way I see it is that engineering needs a lot of depth, while management needs someone who can look at things from many different perspectives at the same time. So this is where I think construction management is special. It's a little bit of engineering and a little bit of management. So you need the depth because we're doing technical, complicated work. And at the same time, we need people who are able to look at problems from many different sides at the same time. So wherever you're gaining experience, it's going to be focused on one area. You're going to be working as a cost estimator or a site engineer or as a planner or in a contract department. So you're building knowledge in one area, which is great. But for career progression, you need to be aware of what others are doing as well in terms of managing a project. So this exposure, you can get it with very good depth at an academic program. So you join a program like what we have here at AUD, you'll be learning about many different aspects. Some of them, you already see them in your daily job and you have enough depth in that area, while others, it's very hard to build knowledge in those areas unless you keep switching jobs every year or so, doing something completely different. So I think our program gives you all the necessary feet to stand on so that you can eventually reach further. So this is why I think our program is really needed.
Right. One of the things I learned from both of you as a response to this answer was that it is not location specific. So it's not like, oh, Middle East is experiencing a downturn, so your program is no longer valid, number one. Yeah. And number two, because there are constant challenges, especially in a region like Middle East, you have to differentiate yourself. You not only need the experience, but you need the knowledge that is global, first of all, and that will enable you to become a better, more efficient manager in this industry, to have a qualification that is more senior than your peers in the same industry.
Yeah.
I really liked the response from from Mr. Luay, who said that these downturns are really interesting and important because they weed out the small players in the market who come here only for quick profitability, whether it's from an investor perspective or from a constructor perspective, right? And I think this is one of the beauties of this industry, that people from the outside see a lot of glamour, but people who are willing and able to remain the industry heavyweights or the experts, they are the ones who know the market, who innovate, who try to apply their expertise. And we recently also saw some big changes in the market in terms of big companies not being able to survive and sustain that. So the next question I have for for Dr. Bakri primarily is the following. If you can sort of share with us the pedagogy or the educational methods that you try to use in the program, in the Master of Science in Construction Management. How is this different from, let's say, a bachelor level course? And what kind of pedagogy, what kind of tools do you use? Maybe you can also shed some light on assessment methods. You know, is it exams or projects or assignments? This is part A of the question, and this is for Dr. Bakri. Part B is going to be for Mr. Luay, but I will ask after this question. So please.
Okay. All right. So sometimes, and up till now, I still get scared by the word pedagogy. You know, it's still
it's a heavy word.
So it's basically, yeah, how do we teach and how do people learn in the program?
Yeah, that's easier. I want to sound a little bit sophisticated too. I'm working. I'm in the company.
Well, you just scared me a little bit.
Amazing people. Please go ahead. Yes.
So because the courses are diverse in nature, so we end up doing pretty much every possible learning way. We have face-to-face traditional one-way lecturing. We have computer labs where we'll be doing something interactively on the computer. Some courses are, now we have the course on computer applications where you teach BIM and Revit and these things. The course is almost entirely on the computer. Other courses, well, we do a few things on a computer. We have courses such as construction laws and regulations where it includes analysis of case studies. So that's a little bit more of an independent work. Here's a case study that students need to individually analyze and answer questions about. We have projects, of course, and this is probably the more obvious difference compared to undergraduate levels. As a graduate degree, we have to give a little bit more flexibility. So we give projects, and the students have the flexibility and the freedom and the responsibility as well to figure out what they want to do about it, how they're going to do it, what resources they're going to use. We have group projects, we have individual projects. So that's about it. Between analyzing case studies and projects and typical lectures and computer-based tasks, this covers the whole spectrum of what we're doing. A different story, we have an optional thesis. So far it's optional. Some people can just study courses, others can do thesis. Like Luay, one of the
I was just going to say, I would love to hear from Luay if he did the, did you do the
so if someone chooses to do that, this is a completely different learning. Perhaps Luay can tell us more about it, because like he comes up with a problem and he has to do whatever it takes to solve it. So that's although it's a little bit harder, but that's one of the most beneficial learning opportunities one can get in such a program. The last thing is the assessment. Well, we do whatever matches with the course requirements. We have typical exams, which we successfully somehow are now doing remotely. We have reports and projects. We have research-based projects and assignments. We have problem solving. We have computer projects. So it's also covering the whole spectrum. So that's
Luay, would you like to shed some light on that? How was your learning experience? What did you use? And eventually, did you end up choosing the thesis or your own project? Please.
Okay, so I hope you've asked me why I joined Master of Science.
Yes, that was going to be the next question, but please.
Okay, so keep it for the next question.
No, please. Let's start with this, and then you can tie it into the questions I had. So what was your, after having already a decade of experience, over a decade of experience in the industry, what was your primary motivation for joining the Master of Science in Construction Management?
Yeah, I was shifting between management levels, and in that time, I became the operation manager of the project managers. We were colleagues. Now they are reporting to me. In that time, I felt like in the number of years, they have bigger experience than what I had. And I thought like of going to take courses in each of different topics of the construction that I require and get like a certification. So I have like a backup knowledge of what I'm managing them accordingly. And it was like I'm going to do like scheduling, then I'll do something related to the FIDIC and laws, and then I'll do something related to the estimation, because I need to, when I found the program, I found it like covering all the essential 5 topics of any management, engineering management of a construction. And I even, like Dr. Ibrahim, he mentioned about the laws subject. I have it was an open book exam, and I prepared a folder which is putting all what we've done through the year, all the cases that we studied and analyzed and others, plus a copy of the red book, and put it in all in one folder, because this was the open book documents that I brought there. And then I kept it in my library, because every time I refer back to it. Like now it's almost like 5 years since I took that subject. And sometimes if I want to think about something, I will refer back to it. So it gives me the tools that it's needed. It's all the essential topics that he, as a project manager, should know, should be aware of it. Like estimation, how estimation is done, based on what kind of a grouping or something like that. And this is why it's an excellent thing. And versus like, you are not doing it as a certification that you need to maintain it and keep and it have a validity. You are going for an academic certification from a reputed school that you will have it for your lifespan. It's not going to last for 2 years. Then you need either you maintain it or you are out of that one. Yes, I'm a pro of any improvement, because I always say, if you want to quit your job, just to stop improving yourself, because there's somebody somewhere is trying to do what you are doing in a better and more cost-effective than you. So if you are not improving yourself, you are going to be out of the game. This is why it was part of my improvement to go for this program. Now, the thesis versus the topics, I thought of having, because it was kind of investment for me. First, it was like a time investment, financial investment, and others. So I thought like to cover all the things about it. I never did the research. I never have a hypothesis that I want to prove or disprove, or I want to do it all. And the good thing about the AUD, I'm not like blowing smoke or something like that. The good thing about AUD, it is like there is the communication part. When I went to the coordinator doctor in that time, and I asked him, he asked me multiple questions to make sure that I'm doing it for the correct purpose. Because he said, if you want to complete the program, just do the classes. Why you need to go for thesis? It's a lot of work. And he kept asking me questions until he told me, yes, okay, you can go ahead and do the thesis, because it's a lot of work. It is like you need to know how to analyze the problem, and the quantitative and the qualitative way, and to do the write-up. I never did like a scientific or like an academic write-up as a thesis. I did like a dissertation or like a couple of pages. And this is why, and this is the good thing, like there was a communication part. We used to go and sit and discuss whether to go for this topic or this topic, and which one will help me more. And he will mentor, he used to mentor us. And I believe Dr. Ibrahim is doing the same for his student, mentoring us towards what you need to go for and what's beneficial for you. because and this is the good thing about the program, that it covers the 5 basics topics, and it have the electives and the thesis option.
Right.
I'm not sure, did I answer your big
I think you
question?
did. I think you not only answered that, but you went definitely more in depth, which sort of ties into my next question. It's perfect, like the flow of conversation. You're really sort of allowing me to make my job easier. The next question I have is 1 or 2 challenges you remember, Luay, from the program that you were like, wow, okay, this is new for me. I have experience in this industry, but this is something definitely I did not expect, or it's more challenging. Can you please share with us 1 or 2 things? And then the next question after that is for Dr. Bakri. I have.
Okay, there's a lot of challenges. Definitely for somebody who just like stopped studying for around 12 to 13 years, then he come back to study. I had the first challenge was when I did my TOEFL. It was like I need to sit in a place for 3 hours, and I never sit for 3 hours in one chair. I used to work in construction. I go walk and others, so it was a kind of challenge. I recall when we were doing the estimation project, it was an online estimation, and in that time I had like my colleague in the project was Mansour Mazroui.
Yeah.
He's now in the Dubai police, major in the Dubai police, I think. And the online crashed on us at around midnight time. So, and we were in the final week of the finals in the university, and the university campus was operating 24/7. So we had to work until like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I ran out of battery for my mobile. Then I went home at 3 a.m. and I think my wife still is not convinced that I was in the university by that time. So it is kind of like something. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for somebody who have like a house, a family, a full-time job, to work and to learn something new.
Right. That's amazing to hear that. I think, you know, we all have those 1 or 2 moments during our graduate studies that we're close to, you know, it's like pushing us to the limits, basically, where we're being pushed to the max.
Taking you out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. That is the whole point of some of these activities. Dr. Bakri, the next question is related to this. If you could give, you know, advice. We have a student here in the group chat, sorry, not in the group chat, but rather in the attendees list, Mr. Beltran. He is considering starting the program in January. I've met with him. There's some others as well. If you could share some advice, 1 or 2, you know, messages, you know, that could sort of alleviate some of the challenges that students typically experience, what would you share from a faculty member perspective?
Okay, I think probably one of the hardest points is getting started. Because I've seen a lot of people, they come and they ask, and you can immediately sense that they are interested, but they are a little bit hesitant. Will I be able to do it? Because from the outside, you don't really know how it goes, and you don't really know, okay, it's 2 years, a lot changes in 2 years for your family, for your job, for everything. So I've seen this hesitance a lot, but I've also seen the numbers that all the people that go in, with very few exceptions, they complete the program within the planned time. A few people get delayed a term or 2, and very, very few people don't finish it. So I sense that the hardest thing is to take the decision to commit to such a program. Once you start, you find that it's on a course by course. You can choose how fast you want to go, and you start realizing, well, it's a group, we work together, and you get to realize that we, as professors, we're approachable and available. So usually getting out is much easier than getting in. So my advice to people is get over this hesitance and just take the first step. Go for a term, for one course, and see for yourself what happens. Because I sense that as soon as people get engaged with us, they go through it with a pretty high momentum until the end. So that would be my advice. The other advice, well, for some people it's applicable, for others it's not, is that always the earlier the better. As Luay said, if you're doing it with your family, it's challenging. If you get started before you get busy with the family, that's better. If you think you're busy with your family now, for sure, a few years down the road, you'll be busier. So
unless it's like maybe 20 years, your kids have grown up, they're all gone for
and maybe you're retired altogether, and you just have you finally have the time for the degree. Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's
Right.
that's another thing. Yeah, the sooner the better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luay, if you, on the same sort of in the same vein, if you can please share with us advice that you would have liked before you started the program. Maybe one message, one advice, or maybe two key advice, notes that you can share with potential students that you would have appreciated if you had found out before you started.
Okay, so I think joining the AUD, basically that's something related to your industry, like a construction management. It is like having a lifetime mentoring contract. So I've graduated for the last 5 years. I'm still speaking to Dr. Ibrahim. I used to speak to Dr. Ala, Dr. Payman. Sometimes I ask them their opinion about things. And like after graduated, I was invited through the connections to speak in couple of conferences and related to the risk, related to just in time. I did also in the International Housing Conference, governmental International Housing Conference, which had the first time in the AUD and the second time was in a hotel. So the good thing that you are joining a club. If you like to swim, you like to join a sailing club. You will go there and you can ask them whether you have a boat or not. So it's just like joining a club. You go and you can ask the doctors, and they are very generous in giving you the information. They can give you the information. They can lead you to how to get it, and then you have like a lot of time during working. You will find like I need to ask somebody, but I will not ask Google, because Google will take you to Wikipedia and others, but you need to ask somebody who's like expert in that topic, and you end up like searching sometimes your mobile or searching your calendar, whom I know that in this field. But if you go to the university, you can ask Dr. Ibrahim, I have this one, and he can walk you to the concerned doctor, and he can ask him about it. So it is essential for everyone to improve and to have like a proper reference. And what is better than a reference that's located in Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai? It is like something like you can access it every day if you want. You can access it over the phone, over the email, and coming. So it is kind of like the mentoring part was something that I didn't know that I will have it, but I have it for a long time. Even some of the doctors went back to their home countries, and we are still in contact. Some doctors have moved, and the newcomers even, like for example, Dr. Hajjat, Dr. Ibrahim, they came like after I walked, and I have a good relationship with them. So this is the time. It's kind of like it's a good place to be related to.
Wonderful to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sort of the last question I have for both of you, Dr. Bakri and Mr. Luay, can you please share with us what you think is going to happen in the near term and the midterm. So we're talking about the next 6 months to 1 year and the next 1 to 2 years in the industry, because now the students who are considering, they will be graduating in 1 to 2 years from now. Well, some of them will be graduating 2 years and after. So what kind of, not necessarily opportunities, but rather insights do you think will be occurring in the industry? And that is something they should be prepared for at the back of their mind when they study and beyond the program.
I'd wait for Luay to answer first. I'm actually looking
No,
forward to hear his
I was
insights.
thinking to wait for you.
It's not
I was grabbing my crystal ball first.
It's very hard to talk about insights and future expectations in the current situation. But I mean, there are things that people can safely bet on. I would say this would be the leadership in Dubai to figure things out. This is for me something that I felt is always a safe bet. I think whatever is thrown at this country, I trust the leadership to have the ability to guide to better outcomes. And the other thing, again, this is a little bit more personal, regardless of what's happening around, is to bet on education, whether it's formal degree education or education in terms of self-development or learning new things. I look at maybe 30, not 30, I would say 20 years ago, you graduate with a good degree in engineering and then you have a good career. Now that's not the case. You get outdated very fast. So you have to put yourself on a path of continuous development. It sounds like a lot of pressure, but I see that's the only thing. I was just thinking about Luay. Luay didn't just get his master's 5 years ago. Every year Luay is doing something different. So that's I'm it fits within my limited ability to foresight what happened. Is just to do your best. That's what I can think of. Maybe Luay is more in touch with the industry. He has better sense of what could be happening down the road. So maybe that's going to be a useful answer from Luay, maybe.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. Actually, 30% of the economy of UAE is depending on the real estate. And to be frank, this figure, I think it is underestimated, because once you look at even tourism, it is depending on the real estate. People, they are coming to man-made buildings and to man-made features. Other than the desert, there's most of the features are made by humans. And when I said made, it's constructed. So, and depending on this downturn, I think what is coming, the real estate has proven that it is the safest investment. So even like big companies are doing other businesses, but you think like their core business goes back to the real estate. Yes, it is a downturn, but I've read in 2008. Sorry to mention another faculty name. It's an article done for Harvard. It is Roaring from the Downturn, and it is the name that I can remember of that article. It's a Roaring from the Recession. So basically, most of the companies who had like a good step up was happening after a recession. This is where that people are looking for a good candidates and recruit them and prepare their good companies. Companies who are looking to cut salaries or release people or others, they are like they are short-sighted companies. You are looking to join a good company. These companies are looking for people with a good record of their knowledge, of their experience, and others. So if you have a small experience of years, you need to make it strong with an academic background. What usually I say to newcomers to the company, I said like everyone should have a vision of himself and should revisit what he had achieved out of his vision. So he will look at his vision and see like I have gaps in my knowledge and in my experience. These gaps are related to one A, Z, X, and others, and you need to fill these gaps. And the best way to fill it is fill it with an academic stuff, not fill it with somebody's experience that he is already failing to achieve a good lifestyle or like a good career. This is why the after this pandemic, you can see like majority of the people who will succeed is the people who have invested in themselves, invested in improving themselves with the knowledge and the expertise and the others. Like they need to invest. There is a good time that people can rethink what they have done and how to reinvest in their capabilities and their knowledge and their expertise to be available for like the big players who will be staying after this downturn. So, and I feel like, as Dr. Ibrahim said, the leaders of this country is investing in having it one of the leading countries and markets in the region. Dubai and UAE as all is the oasis in this region and will remain as the oasis. People will come here to do their to achieve their dreams. So I think there is a good perspective. Usually, this downturn gives more thrust to the economy for the coming years. This is my idea. It's not related to the glass ball.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think both of you have hammered home the same point that there is a demand for talent still in the market. That talent, is not the kind of talent that people think they will be competing with, with a solid master's degree in their background, as their backbone. So once again, thank you, Dr. Bakri and Mr. Luay, for joining us. What we're going to do tomorrow is all the attendees and the registered people for this event, we will be sending them a recording of this webinar. It's possible that after today, I will receive questions for you. Please, I might bother you on email. Absolutely. And once again, thank you so much. After work hour, 7 p.m., you have helped us out for this. So if we have any questions, I'll be in touch with you. And we hope to get your help in the future for more and better events, and hopefully even offline ones. Mr. Luay, it would be amazing to invite you to AUD. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening and speak to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. Thank you,
Thank
Junaid.
you, Rai.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.